Overspending. Let's talk about it.
50% of millennials who make $100,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. I don't feel
bad for them.
They want to have a Rolex. They want to drive a nice car. I get
Precisely.
it. But they don't. It's called lifestyle creep. The more money you make, the more you feel like, well, I deserve to have a nicer car. I'm working hard. I deserve to move into a nicer area. I deserve to go on vacation to Mykonos this summer. All my friends are going to Ibiza. So
but is that the real?
Make the right decision.
Lifestyle creep is a real thing, my friends. I will be honest with you. As you start to earn more money in your career, as you grow in age, as you advance in your career, you start to earn more money. And then these nice things that you've looked at when you were 16, 17, 18 years old, and now you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and you can start to buy some of these things. You're like, hey, this doesn't look too bad. Maybe I am going to go buy me a nice brand new car. Or maybe I'm going to buy me a nice Rolex to show off at parties or social gatherings whenever I'm out with friends or family. Lifestyle creep is a real thing, and I will say this, guys, prevent it at all measures possible. Yes, treat yourself. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. My wife and I, we treat ourselves every now and then because, well, we do deserve it. Now, there's a fine line there with deserve it. You hear it all the time. Well, like he said, I deserve this new car. I deserve the trip to Mykonos with the friends. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. As I'm swiping it on the credit card and not going to pay it off for 6 months. Here's my thing on that, guys. So, yes, you deserve treats every now and then. I'm always a big advocate on celebrating your wins, celebrating the small wins and the big wins, but you got to do it responsibly. When I say I deserve something, that doesn't mean I deserve to go buy myself a $75,000 truck that I want and finance it at an 8% interest rate, paying it for the next 80 months. No. What I deserve, or what my wife and I deserves, is to be financially free, to be debt-free, to not have to make major life decisions because we have debt up into our eyeballs with trucks and car payments and credit card debt and all that. What you deserve is to be financially responsible, and then that way in return what you can do is you can go use that money down the road later in life to then buy what you want with cash and not have to borrow the money to go into debt to buy a liability that is depreciating in value. If there's one thing you take from this video, please prevent lifestyle creep and focus on getting to financial freedom faster. That way you can afford those items when you're ready.
I won $100,000 after winning America's Next Top Model in 2017, and here is the story of my biggest financial mistake of my life. So after I won the show, they actually gave me a check for $100,000. Boom, baby, I'm rich. And for some reason, my little itty-bitty undeveloped brain thought that meant it was $100,000 post-tax. Like, they obviously already took out the game show tax because I got a check for $100,000. Newsflash, not the case. So anyways, I go and spend the $100,000. I paid $60,000 for an apartment in New York, but I had a roommate paying me back, and then I subleased it, and they paid me back. Anyways, it wasn't that horrible of an investment, but obviously not the smartest thing I could have done. And then the rest of the money I spent taking my family on like nice dinners, and I bought one pair of shoes, and anyways, I spent the entire $100,000. I also got a car. I spent the money, okay? What I should have done was put aside 35 to 40% of the money for taxes so that I'd be ready to pay that. But I didn't do that. I spent it all. And so I spent the next several years paying back the money in taxes to the IRS. Whenever you watch a game show and you see like, oh my God, they won $10,000 or they won a new car or whatever it is, just take that with a grain of salt, because not only are they going to be taxed on the actual cashola that they bring home, but like when you get a free car, you don't really get a free car. You have to pay the taxes and then all the other things that come with winning a prize on television. For the $1 million that you win on Survivor, you probably got to pay like $400,000 in taxes. That's nuts. But anyways, anytime I talk about this, people always freak out and they're like, oh my God, you're such an idiot. It's like, yeah, I was kind of an idiot. That's why I'm making this video in hindsight, okay? Lesson learned, and yeah, always prepare for taxes, everyone.
Uncle Sam always wants his cut. By God, that is the truth. Now, that right there, guys, is why we see so many people who win the lottery go broke. I mean, you've seen it time and time again. First, as she stated, yes, you have to pay your taxes. Anytime you win a sum of money or you sell something for a large sum of money, the government always wants a piece of that pie. Now, a little tangent here. What pisses me off is that the government wants to take all this damn money, and then we see billions and trillions of dollars being wasted by government spending. But hey, there's nothing we can do about it. But to get back to what I was saying, is this happens all the time. First, yes, guys, planning accordingly to pay your taxes is very important. One thing I was literally just discussing with my wife about, honestly, 15 minutes ago before I hopped and started filming this video was talking about the tax bill that we're going to have to come up for 2024. Coming up this March or April of 2025 is usually when we pay our taxes. I've been stocking cash away for that tax bill because with me being self-employed and how other financial stuff happens in my life, I usually have a larger tax bill come tax time because I pay quarterlies, but usually, if depending on how I make money, I have to pay extra at the end of the year. It's just it sucks. It does. But you have to plan accordingly for that, and that's not what she did. What she did is she literally blew the $100,000. And that's something else that happens to a lot of people. I've seen people who have sold homes and had a large piece of equity that they've now received in cash, and you see a lot of them go and they spend that on nothing. Then you fast forward 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, and maybe that $200,000 in equity they had in that house, and if they didn't roll that over into another purchase of another house or something like that, usually that equity is gone. What you have to do, guys, is when you have this large sum of cash, first understand the tax liability that you have against your name. But what we have to do is we have to look at how we're going to manage that money. And if you don't know what to do yet, put it in a high yield savings account and let the damn thing sit there. Just let it sit and accrue interest. May not be a lot of interest, but right now you can get around 3 to 5% in interest on a high yield savings account. Recommend Public, link below down in the description if you want to sign up and check them out. But you can't just go and spend the money and waste it. Like, put it towards your future. Put it towards retirement. Go buy an investment property, or go buy some investments with it in your retirement or your taxable brokerage account. Max your Roth IRA out with it. Here's another little tidbit. If you guys have not opened a Roth IRA, it's one of the best investment vehicles you guys can open. And if you're a married couple, your spouse and yourself can have 2 separate Roth IRAs. You can max them out at $7,000. Put $7,000 into your Roth IRA, $7,000 into your spouse's Roth IRA, and make sure you are investing that money inside the Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is just an investment vehicle, right? So you deposit the money inside the Roth IRA. Once it's inside your Roth IRA, then you pick an investment. Something like a market tracking index fund is what I like to always say is usually the best investments to just set it and forget it. Something like VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, or VTI, which tracks the overall U.S. stock market. Can't go wrong. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of international in there to make yourself feel better, then so be it. But that's the key there, guys, is paying your taxes and don't waste and overspend the money when you just gotten a large sum amount of it. Just think accordingly and figure out how to make that money grow and not go down in value. You want to make that 100K turn into 200K in 7 to 10 years instead of turning it into 0 in 1 year.
I think I made the worst financial decision of my life.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
I am trying to get out of my timeshare.
Oh, you did. Oh, you made a horrible decision.
I know.
It's legalized fraud. Oh, where did you buy a timeshare?
Like what state?
Yeah.
Or what company?
Where? Well,
I bought it in California.
In California. What company?
It's Wealth Financial.
Oh my gosh. Okay. How long ago did you buy it?
21.
Wow. Just had a weak moment, huh?
Yeah, and my fiance and I are just now trying to save for our first home, so it's really just like
You still owe money on this thing?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not kidding you.
And I've really tried. I tried everything, contacting them. They have reiterated to me many times they have no buyback programs, and I cannot sell or transfer the loan to anyone until the loan is fully paid off.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a horrible, horrible industry. It's just the worst.
I just shaking my head the entire time watching that video because, like Dave said, guys, timeshares are one of the worst things that you can get yourself into. I mean, you're literally paying for no ownership in something. at all. See, with a timeshare, you are basically sharing a spot with multiple other people and you have zero ownership in that location or building or wherever the property is located. What you're paying for is to be able to go to that unit once or twice or a few times a year. Oh, not only do you probably have to take out a loan to purchase your right to use this timeshare, you also have to pay maintenance fees and other fees that come along with it. Timeshares are literally one of the worst financial moves you can make. If they get you with the presentation and it looks like a great time, it looks like oh, my family would love it here, just instead of spending that money on going to the same spot, pay yourself that amount and then be able to take a trip whenever you want. See, here's what I do, right? I have my own separate savings account that is considered our travel fund. That's the family's travel fund. So every single month, my wife and I have discussed an amount that we deem to be necessary that could be transferred automatically into the travel fund account, and it just sits there and earns interest. And then whenever we're ready to take a trip and, it's that time of year and we say, hey, we want to go somewhere fun, that money is already allocated for the trip. We've been saving up for it the entire year, or we already have the money sitting in there and it's just kind of piling up. And we're like, hey, let's pull $5,000 out of the travel fund and let's all take a trip. That's how we do that. And that is what that does for me is instead of me having to pull cash out of like our separate account that's sitting for taxes and investment purposes and whatever, that's harder for me personally. Now this is where it comes where you have to know yourself. That's harder for me personally to pull that money out of that account. But when I know I have this money in this separate account, it's easy for me to pull $5,000 out and say, yep, let's go spend it on vacation because that money has already been allocated for that. I've already made the payment. When I transfer that money automatically from my checking account to that separate savings account, I know that money is basically already gone. I take it as that monthly payment is like a payment for a future trip, but even though it's just sitting there still collecting interest and it's growing every month, it's ready to go whenever I want to take a trip. I'm not going into debt for that trip, and I take the trip based on how much is sitting in that account. That's how much we know that we want to pay for. And over the time, it's built up enough to where we can pull from it and still have enough to take another trip if we wanted. But that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to allocate money like that for you. And maybe you don't like trips, right? Maybe you don't like to travel, but maybe you like to go buy yourself a nice handbag. Or maybe you have a nice shoe collection that you want to spend thousands of dollars on shoes every single year. Open a savings account. Make that money. If you got your investments and debts and everything covered, open a different additional savings account and let that be your shoe fund, or let that be your bag fund, or whatever it is, your golf fund, whatever your hobby is that you like to do, let that be it. And figure out a justifiable amount that you can transfer into every single month. That way when it comes to it, you have that available. But guys, to go back to what that video was about, timeshares, don't ever do it. Don't. This simple. It's a horrible financial decision. And it can get you hurt for a long time because, like she said, they're trying to save up for a house, but they're stuck paying this loan on a timeshare that is not even theirs. It's not even their property. You don't even have ownership in it. So as it goes up in value, you don't get that value. You don't get that rise in cost. It sucks. Stay away from them.
So I've been saying for weeks, okay, I need to buckle down. I need to stop blowing money on food and drinks and things like that because I need to save my money. Christmas is coming up. I have a bunch of stuff I have to pay for. What do? Guess how much this latte was? $12.88. I was like, in this economy, are you fucking crazy? Okay, if anybody sees me out in the world and I have my card in my hand, I want you to punch me in the face. I'm so done with everything that I do because everything I do is just bad at this point.
$13 for a latte? Yo, where is this at? Yo, I mean, trust me. I love my coffee. I love to, go get my little treats every now and then. But I'll be damned if I go spend $13 on one cup of coffee. Guys, we complain and we hear about why people can't get ahead, that's why. Now listen, I had a clip a couple videos back about the coffee factor, where you can go spend $5. It's not going to have a big say on your finances down the road. Like, you need to focus on your investing and stuff like that, and which I agree with that. But if you're constantly spending $13 on coffee, like, and maybe this was like a one-time thing for her, I don't know. I'm not trying to like hate on her for doing this, but if that's like a regular purchase and it's $13 every time you go buy a latte, and you're, say, buying them a few times a week, yes, that's going to catch up on you. That is not a good move financially. Now, if you're making, six figures and you have all your ducks in a row and you've paid off your debt and you have investments going in every single month, then sure. If you can afford it and that's what you spend your money on, then by all means, go for it. I don't care. Like, that's fine. But if you need to save money, you have debt to your name, you're not investing as much as you should be, yet you're still buying $13 lattes, ooh, that's a hard one. I wouldn't do it. If you want to, by all means. Me, no way. I'm not doing that. But I'm curious, of everyone we watch on here that, is complaining about getting ahead and doing stuff like that, how many of them are making those decisions? Although it's only $13, but that $13 does add up.
Oh, I took out a loan because let me just explain. So I had a tattoo appointment, and but it was like 6 months in advance. I got the first one and I paid off the first one, and then the second one, unfortunately, I had something where I had to pay something off. So I took out a loan for the second session, but it wasn't necessary, but it was something that I wanted to get because I've had like 2 really bad tattoos.
Okay, so you borrowed for a tattoo.
Yes.
How much?
$1,200.
And to who?
It's like one of those. Oh, it's like a payday loan.
Oh, a $1,200 damn loan for a payday loan.
Yeah.
For a tattoo payday loan.
But it's really nice.
Shut the up. What's your minimum monthly payment? What is that?
Yes. Well, it's a cover up.
Great. It's a tattoo. Okay, I've seen a million.
Yes.
Congratulations.
The underneath it were really bad though, and I had them for so long.
What's the minimum monthly payment on this $1,200?
I haven't been paying it.
Huh?
I have not been paying it.
When did you check this out?
Like 2 months ago.
Oh, why haven't you been paying it? Why?
Okay, so
Why?
it's a long story.
Go.
I can explain.
I thought we were done.
I can
legitimately did. Oh, you can explain all day. I just thought we were done, and now we're not. What?
Well, I lost my card, and then to get the card on there to make the payment, it didn't work. So they wanted me to come in person, and then I just never went in person.
Why? No. Give me an answer. Why in your brain have you not gone? Why have you not been an adult? All these things, not paying on your student loans, not getting your damn insurance, not taking the little quiz for the ticket. Oh, why? And then this, why? Just why? Can't do it. I want an answer. I want any kind of insight into your life. If I don't know what to do at the end of this.
I just wanted to forget that any of the debt exists.
But that's not how it works, and you know that's how it works because you're not a 5-year-old.
Okay, so as a guy, I have tattoos, right? Never in my wildest dreams would I ever even think about borrowing money to get a tattoo. On top of that, using one of the worst loan products out there, a payday loan, to get the tattoo. That is blatant irresponsibility on her part, and oh my gosh. When I first watched that clip, I was like, you have got to be shitting me. But that goes to show, guys, that there are people, you may be watching yourself, that are making these types of choices. It should not happen. All you're doing is hurting yourself. Nothing about that was good. Nothing about that was a good decision at all. Guys, we have got to fix ourselves as a community, as a society, as a country, as a world, because I know I have international viewers out there watching. Here's something, like, she said something in that video that I think a lot of people do nowadays. And she said, well, I just wanted to forget about my debts. I just wanted to think like I don't have them. Guys, We're adults, right? Stuff like that doesn't just go away. Now, I understand people make bad decisions. I understand people get in certain predicaments. You make mistakes, but use that as a learning lesson in life to not go make more bad financial decisions. If we want to truly, like, the ultimate goal is to get ahead financially in life, you have to play the game correctly. You have to live below your means, you have to save money, and then you have to invest. And then a little like asterisk over here, fourth one is to try to figure out a way to increase your income over time. If you guys can follow those simple rules, you'll be successful financially. It's not that hard. The hard part is dealing with this. The hard part is changing your mindset that when you're out and you want that $13 latte to maybe say, oh, instead of spending $13, let's transfer $13 over to my Robinhood account. And let's go buy VOO or VTI. Let's do that. Try that next time. That's a good challenge for you all. Next time you're out and you guys are looking at that handbag that's, I don't know, $200, or apparently I misquoted a Louis Vuitton bag and I said something like a couple $100, and you guys annihilated me saying that it was like a $4,000 or $5,000 bag or something like that. But the point I'm making here is next time you see something and you're like, oh, I really, really want that. First, if you can't pull the money out of your checking account and pay for it, you obviously can't afford it, don't buy it. But if you have the money in there, but you're still working towards, getting started financially, just transfer that money to your investment portfolio or transfer it to a debt and make an extra payment going towards principal. Do that instead and see how that works out. What that will do is that will help start changing your mindset and how you think about spending your money every single time you're out. So if you guys want to get ahead financially, it starts with the mindset. You have to think about your money every single day. The first thing I look at when I wake up is my bank account. It's one of the first things I log into to check on like what my money looks like, money's coming in, coming out, what my plans are for the coming, next few weeks and goals and whatnot. Like I think about that stuff all the time. Now you don't have to be that crazy about it. You don't. I'm a little over the top because I love this stuff and I love talking about it. I love thinking about it. But to get ahead, you have to make the right choices day after day. You can't have, it's like a diet. Like you can't have one day you're like, oh, I'm spending good. Like I'm not spending my money, I'm saving. And then the next day you go blow it all on food and knickknacks. I don't know what the hell it is. You can't do it. If you truly want to get ahead financially, you have to do the right things consistently every single day.